Streaming is on.
All right, great. Thank you. See you later.
Yeah, see you later. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
All right. So our last topic for now is on this pipeline experience model. This isn't the easiest thing to explain, but definitely going to be helpful. And he copied way too much information. So basically want to go down to line 64.
Line 64?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the
Okay.
This is the model. So basically the thing to understand is that we're creating a showcase website. The Umbrella Showcase website is in and of itself going to showcase our work as a team, right?
Yes.
But then in addition to that, it's going to showcase other programs and projects as showcase websites within the Umbrella Showcase website. So the Umbrella Showcase website in and of itself is a showcase because it's presenting our story. But then within the Umbrella Showcase website, we'll actually have the links and the information about each sub-program, including the social value group, which is one of our branches, right?
Yeah.
So the way that we decide, this is called the launch agreement. We need to create an agreement on the exact websites that are going to be showcased within the Umbrella website. And the way to do that is to create a laundry list of brainstorm all the possible websites and programs that we want or may want to do. And then there needs to be some sort of cutoff. It is like, okay, these are the minimal that we need to include in the showcase website for now for the launch. And remember, we have about a 2 to 3 month timeline. Just because we don't include it in the launch doesn't mean it can't be in the quote pipeline for the future after the launch. And so that's where the concept of the pipeline comes in, right? So the general idea of the pipeline experience is what I'm going to present now. And it has to do with this idea of like a cutoff of exactly the minimum websites that we're going to include in the Umbrella Web Showcase website. Currently, those numbers include basically, if on line 80 to 85, you have the Umbrella Showcase website itself is one of the websites that we're creating. You have SPG, you've got sponsorship website, you have the Support Alliance website, and then you have possibly the co-op, right? Of actually our team itself and our co-op and our overall ownership. And then I'm going to explain this new pipeline experience idea. So the pipeline experience idea is that basically instead of just looking at each individual website as its own separate thing, we would think about the social value group as an experience. The creation of the social value group, the stepping back from FQN, creating social value group, which took us almost 6 months, right, or more, was an experience. And through that experience, we learned something and we co-created together. We co-created a brand new entity and a brand new organization with its own values, its own systems and cores and all of that. It was a beautiful experience. And the idea of the pipeline experience in and of itself is that we step back and we prioritize the actual process, right? And that the process itself of co-creating the experience of an entity is the journey, right? And by documenting that, we're following our policies because we would document the entire system of co-creating the entity together. And that's basically what the proposal is. And this is where it gets a little bit confusing, is that we would be proposing to take a step back from the Umbrella Showcase website itself and instead go into the process of this pipeline experience. And the Umbrella Showcase website would be included as one of the options for within the Showcase experience, right? So the end result would be that we'd have a very specific list of programs in our pipeline to eventually showcase on our Umbrella website, right? Including the Umbrella website itself. And that this would include both programs we agree for completion before launch and after launch, right? And so again, this would just be the short list of things that we're considering including, and then we actually have a few lists of things that we're obviously not including planetary sessions, parallel governance, fundraising, umbrella media company. There's a bunch of other ones that we could include there too, that we don't necessarily want to include. So if there's no questions, I'm just going to kind of go through this triple loop issue, and then basically option, there is option just to continue with the current website as normal, right? And not to go into this showcase pipeline experience, which would basically mean we just note that we have future things in the pipeline, but we're not going to actually build the experience in the whole system. But if we do decide to go with this option and approve this proposal, it would mean that we would step back from just doing the umbrella showcase, and that we would really take the time to review everything that happened with SVG, understand the whole experience of co-creating SVG, and kind of build out that process so that when we go through it for sponsorship and support alliance and co-op and the umbrella website itself, it'll be much quicker and easier and faster. So instead of taking 6 months, we could get through it all in just a few months, And as we do more and more showcase experience, pipeline experiences in the future, it'll just go faster and faster and faster, easier and easier to co-create these entities and programs together. So that's basically the idea. Are there any questions, any initial that you want to understand more about the proposal? Otherwise, I'm gonna go into this triple loop detail and then read the proposal again, and we can see if we want to do this.
No questions. No questions right now.
Okay.
I understood.
So the triple loop is this. We have the Umbrella Showcase website. It's our prime trajectory. That does not change. The prime trajectory is still the Umbrella Showcase website, regardless of this proposal. This proposal does not change at all our scope or our goals. All of that, none of that changes. What does change is the process that we go through. So the Umbrella Showcase website trajectory brings us to what we would call the Showcase pipeline sub-trajectory. So it's the idea that's creating this pipeline experience that then would prioritize a sub-program, which can either be the Umbrella Showcase website or the Showcase pipeline, depending on what we want to prioritize, or it could be something else, right? So basically that's the triple loop that makes it a little bit confusing. But once we prioritize the process will tell us what the priority is. And the priority could be the Umbrella Showcase website. It could be the Showcase pipeline experience. It could be SVG. It could be none of the above. It could be, maybe we want to prioritize the co-op because we need to focus on our own team first before going to all these other programs. Okay? So that is the general idea. Does anyone have any question about the idea of prioritizing the process as opposed to prioritizing a specific web page? I'm going to say no. So I'm going to read the proposal. Right? The proposal is step back and prioritize all possible websites that we are considering showcasing, right? That we are considering to showcase, including the Showcase website itself. We go through the prioritization process, and then we build a system for how we will complete each website and program as part of this new Showcase pipeline experience system, right? So it's going to be a new system that's going to build these websites, right? So the Showcase pipeline experience the system itself and all the processes within that system will actually build the websites for us. Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any questions about the proposal? And I'll just start by saying that if this proposal does not pass today, we can always pass it another time. And if this proposal never passes, we just automatically continue what we're already doing, which is just working on the Umbrella Showcase website. If this proposal does pass, there are many different possible outcomes. One outcome is that we choose to focus on one single website at a time. And we just get really deep into one experience of co-creation instead of doing multiple. We could also choose to do 2 or 3 websites at a time, but we're going to have a very clear cutoff, and we're going to have a very clear pipeline, and there will be a system and a processes that will develop forever into the future. All of every project we have in our pipeline, and the entire public can be involved in prioritizing what they want us to work on next. Okay, so it creates an entire model and system for what is going to come next within the organization. So it's basically a trajectory of the future, if that makes sense. Forever.
10 minutes.
All right, so 10 minutes. So anyways, this was a pretty complicated proposal to explain, but I'm done. Any questions about the proposal? Let me go ahead.
So Jay, this proposal is saying that we can concentrate on one website, and then based from our experience building that website, we will take the processes of building that and all to as a guide for building the other websites also, right? It's like
Correct. That is exactly correct. And so the idea of going kind of one by one might speed up the process overall instead of trying to build all the websites simultaneously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm stepping away for a moment. I'll be back.
So yeah, so that was an answer to that question. Yes.
Uh-huh.
And it's good to note that that's only one component of the proposal, is the actual building of the websites, because the building of the websites themselves are, can be done one at a time, like we did with SVG. We just focused on SVG website. And so we might want to do that. But what's really interesting about this experiential system that we're building, which would be a whole other thing that we can showcase, is that it creates a whole process for how we go about building a website. And for example, whether we build the Umbrella website, Showcase website first, is actually not applicable to the process. The process might actually create, based on when we start going through it, it might actually prioritize every single other website before the Umbrella Showcase website. So our current model is that we do the Umbrella Showcase website first, and then we add everything to it, right? Which makes sense, right? But with this new model, it's actually possible that we should do the SVG, finish the SVG website, do the sponsorship website, the support alliance website, the co-op website, and maybe even the Showcase pipeline experience website if we want to include it. And then all of that would be done first. Then you finalize the Umbrella website to put it all in. So there's so many more possible. It's more dynamic. It's more experimental. There's more options based on the direction the trajectory takes us. And the Showcase pipeline experience could be its own Showcase website, but it also doesn't have to be included. So we could co-create the experience of building all these websites, and more importantly, building the entities and the whole experience of the identity, the policies, and the structures, right? We could do all of that even if it's not actually showcased for the launch, right? It could come later. Right. So again, basically, there's a lot of different variables when we go through the process and how we vote. And this would start with us basically brainstorming. So step 0 is understanding the process, making sure we're all on the same page. I'm going to go down to line 100.
Okay.
Right. So the next steps for if we approve and enter the quote showcase pipeline experience. So if we decide to go into the Showcase pipeline experience model, or whatever we decide to call it, it really doesn't matter what it's called. The first step is step 0 is basically understanding the model, right? So understand the model and process, so that we would all understand what we're doing, system / process, right? System and process. Then step 1 would be brainstorming, right? We would brainstorm all possible projects within the pipeline. So this could go out, months, years, even decades. Like we could have ideas that are part of FQN that might not be applicable for many years from now, but could still be in the pipeline that we know eventually we want to get to them, but obviously right now we're not doing it, right? So we just brainstorm all of the priorities. Step 2 would be to, basically finalize the cutoff point for what we include in the launch. So what are the very few websites and programs that we want that are active that we know we need to do for the launch in the next 2 to 3 months, ideally, and we just get those finalized and we create that cutoff, right? Step 3, and then but what's interesting about this compared to our other model is that in the past model, we didn't care about what wasn't included. If it wasn't included, we just got rid of it. We didn't care about it. In this new model, everything that's not included in the launch is automatically already in the pipeline for public review and public voting and just an interactive experience to decide what the next thing will be in the pipeline, right? Because it doesn't go away. It's just as part of this endless process of the pipeline. So then step 3 would be to finalize what we are going to work on first, right? So this could be 1 website, 2 websites, 3, all of them, right? So we would decide what the cutoff is for the work. And then step 4 would be actually getting, step 4 could actually be more like, stop and review everything we did already for SVG and document as much as we can, right? So basically we want to document as much of the systems and processes that we went through as we can, because that's what we're going to be replicating. So we're going to replicate basically what we did with SVG. We're going to replicate, do it multiple times over for all of these other programs and projects. And then step 5, we would actually start. We would either finish with SVG or start the next program in the pipeline. All right, so that's basically the steps. And then once we start the next program in the pipeline, we would enter the system of the pipeline experience model, and then we would go through the experience together to co-create the new entity and program that we are building, whichever one we decide is the top priority, which would start with this process up here where we could basically be voting on some of these existing priorities. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think that helps us having an idea of exactly what would happen if we approve this proposal, which is slightly different than what our original plan was. Our original plan was basically not a process. It was just like, we're just going to work on the website until it's done. Whereas this actually would go through a very, very specific process that we would make as efficient and effective as possible so that we could achieve our goals as efficient and effective as possible, and basically exponentially increase how fast and rapidly we can build new programs and campaigns like SVG. Okay.
Yes.
Any other questions? Any other, you guys ready to just go through this proposal? Should we just vote on it and see what? All right, cool. So are there any concerns? If there's no questions, any concerns?
No concern.
All right. We're ready to approve. Oh, yeah.
Concern is it will take longer, right?
Not necessarily. Will it take longer? So I think that's a question, actually. So the question is, will it take longer? When me and Alberto talked about this, we decided that we think it actually could make it shorter. Because by building an entire model that makes the most efficient system and processes to set up a new program and a new website, the first time might go a little bit slower, but then if we're doing this 4 or 5 times, it's going to go much quicker.
Yeah, have a point. It will be a guide to the next one, right? So it will be
Exactly.
faster for them than the next. Okay.
We think it actually should go faster. So, if you think about what we did for SVG, it took 6 to 8 months. And if you compare that for, doing the Umbrella Showcase website, which we're starting from scratch, right? The sponsorship website already exists, so we can skip that one. The support alliance, we're basically starting from scratch. The co-op would be starting from scratch. And if we also added a showcase pipeline experience, we'd be starting from scratch. So there's at least 3 to 4 websites and programs that we would start from scratch. And if that took as long as SVG, it could take us a year and a half, right? But the idea is if we streamline it all and get it all organized in a way that's very efficient and effective, we could do it in 2 to 3 months. I think we could do it all in 2 to 3 months myself. I think it can go pretty quick.
And we had already an experience with SVG, so we can get that our process with that, so we can get idea from how we made SVG.
Yeah, and that would be step 4. So step 4, kind of like stop, review everything we already did for SVG and kind of document it into our systems, the beginning of our systems and processes, so that we can replicate what we did with SVG or, for example, the co-op or the support alliance, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. So any other questions? Any other concerns? Any concerns, I mean?
Moth, Stacy, you have?
No.
Okay, so I guess we could just go ahead and vote for this. Should we just go ahead and vote for it?
Okay.
So I would say the concern is simply that it is a significant trajectory addition, right? Because we're adding this new trajectory, which is significant. And so I think it's a good thing to vote on because it does affect how we work. It doesn't affect what we're doing. It only affects how we're doing it. Okay? So let's go ahead and vote. And also it'd be great to know if we have supportive consensus here. I know Alberto was definitely a yes on this vote. He'd probably be more than yes. So I'm going to vote in 8.5. Joy, Stacy, Moss, do you want to vote? So Joyce is an 8.2.
8.25, yeah. 8.25 for me.
Stacy and Moss, do you guys want to vote? Moss, you're an 8. Stacy, do you want to vote?
8.
You voting at 8?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So this is our second supportive consensus. Supportive consensus means anything above an 8. In order to get supportive consensus, you do have to vote. It's always a concern that you only have willing consensus if you're just doing objections. So in order to get supportive consensus, you do have to vote. We do have supportive consensus here because we're 8 or above is supportive consensus. So that is awesome that we're on the same page here. So I'm really excited about this. We basically did the training of how it's going to work. We know what all the next steps are. I'm personally ready to start the brainstorm process immediately, but I know we probably should just check out and just start that in a future session.
Okay.
So, but I would love to get started right away and just jump in and start doing it because it's really exciting. So it's up to you guys. Do you guys want to check out now? Do you want to take a 5-minute break and then get started with the brainstorm? Or should we just keep going, do a quick 5-minute brainstorm and then check out?
I unfortunately have to check out, but I would be interested if we can do it tomorrow.
Well, it's going to be more like next week. Tomorrow, let's look at our schedule. So tomorrow, we're working on payrolls and budgets, and then planning and coordination for client work. So we're not going to be working on the prime trajectory. So this would be Saturday, Sunday is when we'd be working on it.
I would probably have at least an hour available Saturday.
Yeah.
So it's up to you.
I mean, it's fine. But again, this is now that we've set this in motion, this basically would never end. This will become its own website, its own experience, its own process that we invite the public to join in with us to decide what's in the pipeline. Right? So we're just going to list all the ideas in the pipeline, and then we all just are constantly voting on them and prioritizing them. And then whatever bubbles to the top would basically be our next projects. And ideally, we would have a whole list of knowing where we're going as a network and within the trajectories of the vortex. So it's an ongoing process.
Right.
Yeah, for me, you can we can have the 5 minutes now before we check out. If you
So
want
do you
to,
want to continue, Joy?
yeah, continue for 5 minutes now before we check out. As you said,
All right, cool.
you want to
All right,
intro.
so let's just do
Okay.
checkouts for everybody who needs to go, and then mainly Stacy for now, and then we're gonna get started a little bit on, getting our model set up and the brainstorm. So this is
Okay.
exciting.
Would I be able to
And
get notes on that? Could I get some notes since I can't stay, because I'd like to be in something with brainstorming where you're excited. That sounds like it's
Yeah, it's in the notes. It's in the
Well,
notes, same
everything-
notes with this. With
yeah,
our
Okay.
everything
same.
here will also record everything, so it'll all be recorded. But it's like this is going to be in the same notes. I think we'll just start here on line 120 and just keep going.
Okay.
Yeah. And then again, this is not going to go away. This is going to be
Ongoing.
ongoing
Ongoing. Yeah.
trajectory in the network. So in the project. So this is I think this is going to be really, really exciting because it will create a process of how we prioritize everything within the Umbrella Showcase website and for after launch as well, so that we continually have a whole model for the direction we're going as a team and as a network and as a organization of Vortex and everything. So it's very exciting. So check out.
Stacy.
Stacy. So Alberto checked out earlier, and now Stacy's checking out.
And 4.
What do you mean a 4?
Just aren't we supposed to score? Oh, yeah, I would say 4.5. I just feel better about things.
Yeah, the score for the end of the session is how the session went for you.
Yeah, so I would say 4.5.
Okay.
Okay.
And then also you say what you're going to be working on.
I'm going to be waiting to hear more, hopefully Saturday. I'm not sure if we're going to schedule that. I'm going to be waiting for my notes, and then obviously I'm still I just want to get involved on the CCC and the nonprofit. The budget.
Well, let's just quickly go over that. So Saturday, what we have scheduled is Andromeda Hour 3 for Prime Trajectory Buddy Team Work and Support Alliance planning, right? So Prime Trajectory Buddy Teamwork and Support Alliance planning. So that's basically what is scheduled for Saturday.
Okay.
From there, just to remind you, there's 2 additional places where we focus on the CCC nonprofit setup. One is Monday, Tuesday, Cobalt Hour 3, which is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 p.m.
Did you say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday?
Monday, Tuesday, Cobalt.
Monday, Tuesday, Cobalt, and that's
So
5.
Monday, 5 p.m. at Pacific time. And so that'll be on recruitment, positions, roles, CCC, nonprofit startup. And then the other time that we have is the planning and coordination for the Prime Trajectory, which is Wednesday, Thursday, Cobalt. So it's the same time on Wednesday, Thursday. So 5 p.m. Monday and Wednesday. That'll be a good time to do CCC, but we can schedule other times as well. It's perfectly fine to schedule.
Definitely.
But basically, as far as we're concerned, like we need to move on regardless of whether you scheduled anything else. So that's when we're scheduling to do it for ourselves.
Okay.
Right. So whether you show up or not, we're definitely still going to be moving forward with the CCC.
Okay. Well, I'll be there.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care, you guys.
And get better.
I will, hopefully. Thank you.
Yeah. So Monday to do this is going to be CCC. Perfect. Okay. So 5-minute break. Moth, did you need to check out?
No, maybe I'll check out maybe in the next after break. I'll maybe after break 20 minutes after break. I think that would be okay. I think
Okay,
I'll
cool.
catch up with at least 1 2 of the second session.
Okay, so
Oh,
you're not checking out. So that's a no, right?
Yes,
yes.
not yet.
All right, so we're gonna do a 5-minute break. We're gonna come here, do like another 5-10 minutes on the pipeline experience, maybe 15 minutes, and then we're gonna stop. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Timekeeping is one of them.
Okay, I'm back.
All right. Let me restart the
Recording.